Hey, happy Tuesday, no brushers. It's Tamara here from Tamara Grant Art, although I know I'm not in my usual background. Don't worry about it. Still the same show with myself and Barbara Reed, who I am just going to grab. Good morning. Say hello. Hi.
I'm not in my usual background either.
You aren't, but you have a nice background. I put a blurred filter on so you could not see my background.
How do you do that, actually? That's a great
Um,
idea.
I just scroll through filters because I really need a big piece of art behind me. I'm in my husband's office today. A whole bunch of reasons. Number one, youngest child doesn't understand the word mine and took off with my AirPods again. They're with him at school. He suggested I come to school and pick them up. No, thank you. Number two, other son is on the other side of my studio space having a very loud stand-up meeting with all of his computer science colleagues. So I said to my husband, can I have your office? And I came in here and I went, oh God, I forgot what I was asking.
I just wanted out of my little studio space today, so I thought I'm going to sit, which I never do, and I have a beautiful painting behind me by
You
Aimee
do?
Montgomery, who's a local artist here. Of our,
Fabulous.
actually, that's our balcony view. She did a whole series of paintings at the beginning of COVID of what people were seeing out their windows when we were all in lockdown. And so
Oh,
she made this beautiful painting and had to have it because that's
I
our,
love it.
yeah.
You need to do my follow my reel this morning. You need to take us on a tour of your house, your condo with all the art on the wall so we can see it all
I will do that one day.
one day.
Right now, it's a bit of a mess.
Oh, did you see mine? My house is a big mess. I just thought, oh, to hell with it. I don't really care. This is what my life's like.
I wonder if there's anybody who's watching who has a tidy house.
I don't know. All these
So
people who are
speak up.
doing but all these people who are doing open studios and getting ready for open studios right now, I think they're all cleaning their houses. And that's one thing that might make me think I might want to do an open studio someday, just for the added pressure to really clean my house.
Mm, I don't know. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
That's too
Douglas says
much.
no, no, their house is not clean either. That's great.
Good. Good.
Thank you. Join the messy artist studio space.
Well, it's just, oh my gosh. Don't even get me started on all the dead lake fly corpses we have around the windows. This is if you live in by Lake Ontario, this is the time of year where the lake flies are just coming out of nowhere. And they are called lake flies. They
Yeah.
serve no purpose except they're bird food. Can't even say it. And so every morning we wake up and somehow they get in overnight and there's like little corpses all over the place. Vacuum them up. Next day, same thing. So
Crazy,
yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else has been going on this week? We can do a quick what's up with you before we invite our guest on.
Ooh, well, I have those two misbehaving totem paintings that I just posted about. Well, one is misbehaving. And yeah, it's a little quieter here this week. Marnie's gone back to Victoria. We had a great time hanging out together. So I miss her.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it. How about you? What's your week like?
What's my week like so far? So good. I just put some new paintings up in my newsletter today, this morning. I've already sold one. That felt kind of good.
Ooh,
I know they're just little paintings, but they're kind of fun and sentimental and whimsical. So I'm glad that one found a home at least. And
good.
I just signed on for a new commission piece, which I'm really
Wow.
excited about. So there you
Good
go.
for
And you know
you.
where it's
That's
going?
great.
It's going to Scotland. It's going to reside in a home on the Isle of Skye, which is
Wow.
my place that I would want to be if I could be anywhere in the world. So that's really cool.
That's fantastic. That'll
Hmm.
be a fun shipping experience. Is it a big
Well,
one? Is it like a big
um,
piece?
22 by 30 was the biggest we could go because my collector's actually in California and she wants to be able to ship it to her there, and then she'll take it over in checked baggage because she wants to avoid having to pay extra VAT and duty and stuff when you ship to the UK.
Wow.
So we were limited by what her maximum carry-on size, or sorry, her maximum size she's allowed to bring and check with
So
the
it's going to go in a suitcase.
no, it's going to be all wrapped, properly wrapped. the way I normally would, and she's going to check it.
Really? Wow.
Yep. So extra heavy duty wrapping, and
Yeah.
it's a panel, not canvas, because I didn't want to risk canvas. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that'll be exciting.
yeah, that's like double the normal stress of shipping a painting. 2 legs of stress of shipping a painting, but whatever.
So, yeah, so it's got to get to California, and then she's going to. Hey, I actually carried a painting from Victoria, BC, here, so it's doable. I did it in a big, not as big as the one you're talking about, but I clutched that thing to me. I'm sure I must have had them put it in like the coat area or something back in the day when you could do that.
Yeah.
You could actually bring things on board the plane.
Yeah.
Good old
But
days.
people ship bicycles, right? They pack skis and bicycles and
Skis,
all sorts of
golf
other things.
clubs,
Right.
golf
So
clubs, strollers.
I'm trusting that if I pack it really, really, really well, that the airline knows what to do.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Anyway, shall we hop on? We have a guest today, Aimee Bonham, who I haven't met in person, and I've only got to know a little bit recently on Instagram, thanks to Carrie Klassen. Carrie Klassen is a great recommender of new art friends to follow and find, and maybe that's how I found you, or maybe that's, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to invite her on. And we have a couple of things we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about her art and where she came from and all of that stuff, but we're also going to talk. Hey, Aimee.
Hi,
how
Amy.
are you?
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So great
happy
to see
you're
you and
with
meet
us
you
today. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, we're so glad. We're so glad. I love the piece behind you. You have such a nice
say.
backdrop compared to me.
Yeah, it's one I've been working on. It was supposed to go to the gallery and I didn't finish it, so it's still here.
So is
Yeah.
that actual? It's not like you don't have like a screenshot of your painting behind you. Is that the actual size of the piece?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's 48 by 60, and I had it going the other way, but I just turned it because this little curly thing would have been like coming out of my head, and I didn't think that would look good. So
You would have looked like a Martian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that wasn't probably not gonna look good. So
We're
That's
very
great.
fussy on those sorts of things, Amy.
Yeah.
On this very high level
yeah,
podcast thing.
yeah.
You have to be careful that you mention that though now, because when Barb does outtakes, she might decide to just draw a little curly coming out of the top of your head.
Right. I might
Yeah.
have to do that. Well, it's great to see you here. And
Yeah.
you've got we know a very relevant story to share. But do we want to start by just learning a little bit more about Aimee?
I think we want to hear more about your art and where you came from with your art and where is it going, and talk about all that really great positive stuff.
Yes.
And then we can talk about the public service announcement.
Yeah.
And I will link all of this in the show notes, guys. It's Aimee Bonham _studio now is her new Instagram. I'll make sure that we get that if you haven't already seen that. But Aimee, why don't you just tell us about what you make? And you have a couple of places you've lived in your life that I've been to that I love. So I'm going to hear about that as well.
Yeah. So I'm doing oils and acrylics. Last few years I've been doing acrylics, but I still do oil and I enjoy it quite a bit. I think I always knew I was going to be an artist. When I was young, I was really interested in it. My older brother was an amazing artist. And so I just, I don't know, recognized or realized I had a talent for it. Went to art school. I grew up in southern Utah, so if anyone knows where Zion National Park is, I was really close to Zion. It's beautiful there. Our city is Red Rock Mountains. And so I went to school for a Bachelor of Fine Art in painting and drawing. I went to Brigham Young University in northern Utah and met my husband there. After that, we ended up moving to Chicago so he could go to school. He's actually a professional violist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah. So we're both artists, and that's, that's fun. And so when we lived in Chicago for 6 years, I had just had my first child. So I had graduated from college with my painting degree and then had a baby like six weeks later.
Wow.
And on one hand, you would think I was really busy, but that first year he slept so much. I was in a few art shows and I did a lot that first year. When I started having the second child, it got more difficult, you know. So I have 3 kids, and you know, life being a mom, I always just kind of felt like I do what I can. I have gaps in my you know, you say portfolio.
Yeah.
That was the year the baby was born. Didn't get much done, you know, but I always just said, you know, I'll do what I can. And I mean, I stayed home and was an artist and, you know, raised my kids. They're still at home. So I have 3 teenagers. My oldest is Billy. He's 19 and lives at home. He actually has intellectual disability. He's special needs. And then I have 2 teenage girls that are almost 17 and 15. So
I've seen you post pictures with them. They look
Yeah.
like you have fun together.
Yeah, they're fun. And so I still feel like I'm in the middle of all the mom stuff. And it's great when I can. I include them when they're willing, and kind of do collaborative things with them. And those are like my favorite paintings. The ones that started with my kids, even though I tell them, you know, it's going to get covered up, but it's
Oh yeah.
it's the process and it's the experience. And so I have tried to do, not everyone obviously, but a few of the paintings have the history of being collaborations in the beginning with my kids. So
And do
you
they
know
like
it
they like
there.
to
Yeah.
they get to come to exhibitions with you as a co-creator?
yeah. And when one of my paintings sold that my daughter helped me with, she was like, Mom, where's my share?
Of course.
Smart.
And you're like,
Savvy.
that's called bed, room and board, groceries,
Oh,
yeah.
drives everywhere.
Well, it was funny because she wanted to, she was younger, like 6th grade. And I said, okay, it's time to go to bed and, you know, give me your phone, take away your phone. And she goes, oh, Mom, can I paint with you? And so, you know, now they want to have, you know, so, you know, engage and stuff, you know, so it was really fun. But yeah, they do. Sometimes they'll want to participate. Other times they're like, no, I don't want to, you know. So, but they've always helped with, even when they were little, I had them gesso. I said, who wants to do white paint? Like me, I love white paint.
I want a gesso.
So I would let them gesso on my panels, you know, so.
I think
That's
starting them
great.
young is key. My boys have no interest in what I'm doing other than to walk by and find random weird things in abstract paintings and point them out to me.
Yeah. Well, that's helpful too, because other people might like them, and I'd rather know if there's something I need to change before I take it to the gallery. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
sometimes good, but then sometimes it's hard because you can't get that out of your head, so they have to paint over it anyways. So
For
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
For sure. So
Like
tell
the
us
clown
about
face
this.
or the dragon that's hidden in there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or my garden gnome. I had a garden gnome once. That
Did
was
you
wow.
have a garden gnome?
I had a garden gnome.
It's amazing what people see.
Couldn't unsee it.
No, you can't. Once you see it,
Yeah.
it's there until you do something radical to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Aimee, how would you describe your work? Abstract, non-representational,
Yeah,
process-driven?
right. Really non-representational. Or non-objective. I used to say they were abstracted landscapes. I felt like I was painting like in the same style for like 18 years. All my work was oil, very organic, kind of reference seeds and pods and plant type thing. And I mean, I think it was nice. It was good, you know, but I did get to a point where I was like, I don't want to say I was stuck, but I really wanted to do a master's degree or something else to push me. And I was like, with especially having my kids at the time and one being special needs, I'm like, I can't, that's not in the cards for me. I can't go up and do you know, even some that have partial residencies. It's like, I just can't do that. And my husband's a musician, so he travels, like he's nights and weekends. So I don't have like the same scenario as some people with, you know, with kids and a husband that is just there all the time in the evenings or whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that was what I could do. I ended up doing the Creative Visionary program, and that pushed my work. It really did. Even though I went to art school, even though, you know, I feel like I knew how to paint, it pushed me into a different direction. So I feel like now, like, I don't know, like I don't know really what's going on with this painting, but I like to show form but I really want the painting to be interesting. That's like one of my goals, but I don't want it to be like it's the same all the way through it. I don't even know how you would describe what I'm doing. Maybe somebody else. This is the hard thing. I'm not the writer. I do have let's say a hard time. I don't want to put that on as a limiting belief or my mantra that I don't write about my art or I can't talk about it. But I wanted to evoke the feeling of nature, but I don't want it to be like it's a place, and I don't even want to say it's about an abstracted landscape. But so I'm trying to push myself more with color. I really did have a very muted color palette, so I'm trying to push myself a lot more with that, but still very abstract. And a lot of people say, what's your inspiration and where do you get these things from? And half the time I'm like, I don't even know if I know, you know. And the answer is like doing it. You know, you get inspired by your own art. You get inspired by doing it. You get inspired by, you know, other people and the community. You know, the community support has been amazing with the programs I've been involved with the last couple of years. So
I was having sorry, go ahead.
Are you doing CVP this year?
I am, but not. I am doing it. I had this show. So I show my work in a gallery in Laguna Beach. And it's an amazing gallery. It's a co-op space. Actually, we have 9 women in the gallery. And what's really great about it, it's right on Pacific Coast Highway, right across from Laguna Beach Art Museum on what they would call Gallery Row. And like every 5 months, you're kind of in one of these 2 featured spots again. So it's always pushing you. You're always being like, okay, I got another show coming up. And, you know, and so that is amazing. So this time I knew I had this show that was opening in May. And so I really wanted to do some bigger pieces. So I had bought 3 of these 48 by 60 panels, and only one of them made it to the show, but that's okay. It's really big. So
that is huge. Yeah.
That was good that I got the one done.
So is that your studio space there too, where the show is, or do you work at home?
No, I work at home. I have like a bonus, it's like a bonus room above the garage. It's probably the bigger room of the house, which my teenage girls think they need to acquire. Mom, why don't we trade rooms, you know?
No chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, we show at the gallery there. And like I said, it's a nice group of women, amazing artists, 9 women. It's not a women's gallery. It started out as a women's gallery 40 years ago, but technically it's not a women's gallery, but it's all women right now.
What's the name of the gallery?
It's called Sandstone Gallery.
And that's Laguna. Where Isabel Alessandra has her work there, right?
Yep. Yeah, Isabel's awesome. Yeah.
We just keep meeting people from California who have amazing gallery space and studio space and interactions and collectives. And Barb and I are on opposite sides of the country, and we're like, okay.
I know, we're like little islands away from where all the art action is, compared to you guys, for sure.
Yeah,
California, especially your area.
Yeah,
like Laguna Beach seems to be. Yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, I'd love to do more, even visiting, like studio tours and stuff would be awesome. I don't know if there's really any going on down here right now. Well, there was one in Palm Desert I didn't make it out to recently, but yeah, there's a lot of artists down here, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, and Jeanette's from Orange County as well. Jeanette,
yeah. So I'm going to be in the gallery. Just a little plug for the show that's up right now, Sunday. So I'm calling it a closing reception. The thing is, because it's a co-op gallery, we basically have to work 3 days. So I'm just saying the last day I'm working, that's my closing reception.
Awesome.
I'll put out chocolates for you.
Oh,
Yeah, it's from Sunday, like 1 to 6. I'll be there.
And how many pieces do you have in this exhibition?
I have like 4 that are, 4, 6. Oh my gosh, I didn't even count them all. I have 6 that are larger, like either like 24 by 38, like that's not really large, or the bigger 48 by 60. And then I have like 10 or 12 little pieces. They're all like 12 by 12s or 8 by 8s and 2 little by 6s. And they're just on this little ledge. So kind of a variety of sizes. And I sold a piece Sunday. So that was good.
awesome.
That's great. Yeah. Another Orange County resident. Well, I was looking through your website, and the thing that struck me about your work that I just love is the layering. How soft and like, you know, you have these lovely rectangular shapes, but then they're layered and you have so much translucency through them. So I see it makes this very, very deep sort of thing to look at. At least on my screen. I can imagine in real life seeing them that size.
Well, maybe because I did oils first, and they are different carrying over to acrylic. Sometimes I have a few oil paintings that I'm like, okay, I want to fix that or go over it. Obviously, I have to do oils again because I can't go over it with acrylic. And every time I get back to oils, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love painting with oils, you know. But then they don't dry as fast. But there's a lot of glazing and building up and stuff like that. So I try to do that with the acrylics too. I do. Funny because it seems like stuff will not be working at all until I do a glaze, and then I'm like glazing. I'm like, no, this is awesome, you know. So I love transparent glazes and
a magic elixir, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you kind of forget, and then you apply a glaze, and it's like, this is now the beginning of something else that's wonderful, and I'm going to push it even further. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer oils or acrylics, or how do you know when to kind of switch back and forth?
Well, right now, I mean, I don't know. Like, I really feel like I have to buy a few more oils. I'm kind of running low on things, but I've been working in acrylic just because, I mean, everything with the Creative Visionary program, this piece being so big, I did get to a point where I was like, man, I really want to switch over because you can do acrylic on the bottom layer and then put oil on top. But I just was like, I don't have time because I was literally down to like a few days before the show. But with an acrylic painting, I painted right until like the day before I had to take it in, you know, so it's not a big deal. So with a time crunch like that, but I don't know, like I really do love oils, you know, and I've started using oil stick on one of the paintings, and just that was just so much fun.
Yeah, I have a bunch of those R&Fs, and I keep trying them. But I just saw something yesterday about using a blender stick. There's actually something you can use with them to help them dry faster, because that's what I was struggling with.
Yeah.
If you mix them with the blender stick or apply the blender stick somehow, it can help speed up drying time.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I'll let you know.
Learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be trying our hand at oils, aren't we, in September with Rob Zott. So
that's awesome. You guys are taking a class with him?
We are.
We're going to New York City to his workshop.
That is awesome. That's going to be really...
I'm trying to think if I've actually ever used oil paints. Maybe once or twice back in art school, but certainly not in the last few decades.
I will admit, I've already looked at a few YouTube videos just to get a sense, because I want to walk in having no clue at all. But he did say we could bring our acrylics if we wanted. So I think it's more about the ideas and his technique. So
yeah.
Well, I'm excited to try the oils. That's for sure.
I wonder if we have any questions for Aimee about her art and her art practice from our audience before we move on to the other topic that we're going to address today, that she's been so kind to offer her insight on. So any questions you guys have for Aimee right now about what we've talked about or other things about her art and her art process, you can jump in, either type it in the comments or you can send it to me in the question sticker. And we'll give you a minute or so while we just chitty chat about whatever else. I was going to ask you a question. So you said when your kids were really little, you found that you had, a lapse in your CV that year. It's interesting because I have a good friend who's a painter and a teacher, and she told me that her most creative years were the 2 years that she spent home on maternity leave with her boys. And she attributed it to hormones. She was like, I had all these creative things going on in my head and I wasn't sleeping. So she painted and painted and painted.
Well, yeah, when I did paint a lot, and it's funny because I'm thinking about one of the years that I didn't paint was a year the baby was born, and we were also trying to sell a condo at the same time. So I had to keep the house clean. You talked about cleaning your house, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that is the hardest thing ever. To be creative, make all your mess, and then also keep the house. Like that is my down. That is the thing that's really hard. So.
Well, something has to go. And I tell myself all the time, it's only going to get dirty again. I live with 3 males, none of whom has a very high threshold for clutter and dirt. So if I have the lowest threshold, that means I'm always the one cleaning. So I'm learning to walk away.
It doesn't matter. I have an art question for just to take it back from the housekeeping again, which we can definitely go back to.
No.
But I'm always curious with with an oil painting, what's your finishing coat? Do you just leave it as is, or do you go through the varnishing process? Like with acrylics, I know they have that plasticky look that you want to get rid of. So you want to, add your varnish, and I love the cold wax, and it just gives it a more elegant finish. Do you need to do anything with an oil painting when it's done?
It's really interesting because a lot of years ago I had this varnish, and it was by Winsor Newton, and it was like a satin varnish, and I put it on. It was great. And something weird, it was like, I don't know if they switched formulas, or maybe there was something I did, but then I started to have it just looked too matte, and it wasn't, it didn't really look right. And I have had with my oil painting some actually, and I think I put wax over one of the paintings that I finished, and then I think I did a varnish over that, and then the wax varnish, they do not play nice together.
No.
So I am feeling like I'm almost back to square one on the finishes of the oil paint, because I don't want to do like a really high gloss, but I don't like gloss, but I'm thinking I like the matte. I like wax, but when it's really textured, you can't buff it because it's got all these bumps and ridges. And so I don't know, I'm kind of almost feeling like I need to take a class, to figure that out too. Cause I know that, Nick Wilden or other people have said, you just put the wax on because the wax is very compatible with the oil paint, right? Yes. But it's the buffing part at the end when it's so textured that I just have not, because my paintings that are oil will get really thick and really textured. That's the part I need to figure out myself.
It is hard. Yeah, I know some of my recent pieces, especially the mixed media, they get very bumpy because I'm using book covers and things like that. But I've somehow managed to figure out the buffing, but I have to do it very carefully by hand with a shop towel.
Yeah.
And you just don't want the shop towel to start shredding off, and then you get little bits of blue tufts of paper all over. So
yeah, it's a real tricky thing finishing, So with the oil, I had put on a wax, and then on one of my paintings, and then I put a varnish on, and then I took the varnish. This was right before the show. Then I took the varnish off. Then I put the wax. Then I put the wax back on. This was all like the day before it was supposed to go to the gallery. And in the very end, actually it worked nicely. I did put the wax over it, and I buffed it, and it turned out nice. But it was weird because I put the wax, I took it off. Then I put the varnish, but the varnish still found some of the wax, and then it was making it all weird. So then I took it all off.
How stressful.
Have you taken wax off? Have you actually successfully removed wax from a piece?
Yeah, you can use odorless mineral spirits, but the problem is I tried taking it off, but it's just still in there. And that's why I thought, oh, I'm going to take it all of the wax off and then I'm going to put this varnish. But there's still remnants of it there, which is why the varnish didn't work, because it was still interacting with the wax. So then I was like, okay, I just have to do wax now. So I think once you put wax on, you have to stay with wax, and maybe somebody else knows better. But
well, we'll crowdsource it. If anybody knows, they can pop it in the comments, or they can even on the replay, or send us a message, right?
Yeah. Because I have some big boards. I'm thinking I want to rework them, and they're big and they're waxed. And I know I've heard of the mineral spirits, and I know Nick has said, you just do that a couple times and then soap and water to take off. And
I don't know.
I haven't. It's like one of those urban legends. I've never actually met anyone who's done it. Maybe Nick's done it, but
it's a wax off, and I think she was successful with it. But I do think it takes a bit of work. So
great.
I've got a couple questions for us in the question box.
Okay.
Carrie Klassen wanted to know how your style has evolved since CBP 2020. Putting you on the spot to talk about your work again.
Yeah. I feel like before CBP, I had a very, very muted color palette, and I don't know if I would say my style as far as my shapes have really evolved, but I think my colors and my the amount of like white or black I use has definitely changed. I used to say I have contrast phobia. Like, I think that for me, that was like a real thing, like very, very white and very, very dark. I was kind of stuck in those mid-tones. And so the CBP really pushed me to the other value, to more of the values on the other ends. And that really helped me a lot, and so, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say if like my style really changed, because like sometimes I think it has, and then other people, like my kids, will say, well, it's still your same art, and you still use that yellow or whatever, but I think it has changed. Less about, like, I was always feeling like I was kind of making a abstracted landscape, and now I'm like, I don't really want to feel like it's foreground, middle ground, background, or there's a horizon line. I'm trying more not to do that, because I don't really want that to be what it is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Question that just popped up, I'm going to answer for Jeanette. CVP, Creative Visionary Program. That's Nick Wilton's program. We had him on here a few months ago now to talk about it through Art to Life. It's a program he runs every year, and it feels like about half of our guests have done it.
Everybody. I say even more.
Yeah. Okay, I had one more quick question, and then I want us to pop over to the other topic, because I want we save enough time for it. Douglas March just wanted to know about your substrates. I think probably because of the size. Do you buy them pre-made, or do you actually make them yourself?
I have been building my own panels since college, and I've done a bunch of videos on my other account, which you can watch if you want. But anyways, on building panels, and it's weird because I just enjoy it, but it takes so much time that I've had to kind of say, okay, no, I'm gonna buy these ones now. So like the one behind me, these 4, there are about 3 that are 48 by 60. I found a guy that does a great job in Orange County area. So if you're in Orange County, that's Panels by Chris. That was awesome. There's also Bara Wood Shaping, and those guys are amazing too. So, but I do know how to do it, and I find a lot of enjoyment and satisfaction in this idea that, hey, I built the whole thing, start to finish. There's this weird thing about me. I probably could have been an engineer. I love to build things and fix things, and like, it's just the weirdest thing,
That's a good thing.
It is. Yeah. And not to be constrained by size, because for me, the last 2 commissions that I've been working on, we've had very narrow ranges of sizes and dimensions that we're looking for, because you have to cover electrical panel, or it has to be able to be shipped in on a plane. So now we're kind of
It's the beauty. I can build any size. I had a guy when I was in Utah once. He's like, okay, I need a panel this exact size. And it was down to the millimeter. He's like, I want it this size and this, you know, it was like so specific. I was like, okay, I'll build it for you, you know, but I can do that, you know. What's nice about being able to do that. And plus the cost of it, you know, is much more affordable, especially when you get to the larger panels, if you can do it yourself. But to build a big panel like this, it takes me like 2 days, you know. So that's time I'm not painting. So I've had to, you know, but the kind of just pick and choose. But I've done a lot of these smaller paintings called my puzzle paintings. And those are kind of a weird merger between working with wood and painting, because I cut up the wood and then I piece it back together. And so that was.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So those
yeah,
will be kind of, I mean, I just have to build them myself. So
yeah.
it's nice.
So
to
no
be able
canvas for you. No canvas for you.
No, I did do one canvas because I found our neighbor was like throwing away this canvas.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really nice canvas. And I was like, and it even had like butterflies glued to it. And so I took all the butterflies off. I ended up just playing on it, and I ended up making a painting it's supposed to be for my husband for Father's Day, and then I sold it. He's so funny.
Oh, well.
Oh,
It
well.
was always make another one.
A real painting,
Right.
yeah, nice. So, yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I want to save enough time to talk about our other big topic, and I did introduce it in my announcement. So Aimee has recently had, well, recently, not that recently now, had an Instagram account that was, I'm going to use the word taken over or compromised, because if I use the H word, then we're going to attract a lot of people we don't want here.
Do that.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about what happened? And then we can.
I'll tell you what happened. Also set up like 10 little true or false questions I'm going to ask you guys. So it'll be kind of fun. So I'll ask a question. Okay, so it started out, I got a message from an artist, and it said, I'm contesting for an Instagram ambassador. Will you vote for me? And this is the thing, like, I've been so interested in Instagram. I don't even remember who the artist was. Yeah. Literally, I was more intrigued by the idea. I'm like, oh, what's this? Maybe this is something I want to do.
You could contest for.
I know, maybe I should do the Instagram. But I literally asked them, like, what is it? But the person was very persistent. I was like, can I send it to you? Can I send it to you? And I just sat down in my car. I was waiting for my son to do his thing at this farm, and I was just gonna sit there and whatever, and so fine. So I agreed, and they sent me this link. So here's my first true or false question for you. To be a good member on Instagram, I should always try to help people if they ask me for help. True or false?
False.
False.
False. Yes.
What do you guys think?
This is a hard thing for me, because even on my bio of the other account, I said, I'm Aimee Bonham and I'm here to help artists, blah, 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 you know, and that was like, I just thought that's what you need to do. You need to help people. But you have to be smarter than I was, and you have to be able to recognize. So they asked for a screenshot, and they want you to return the screenshot back to them of a link that's sent to your actual text message. So our nature is, well, we're not, they'll say, you don't have to click on the link. And our nature is, or at least for me, it was like, oh, I don't even have to click the link. Then it must be safe. I'm not going to get hacked. Right? So they take your screenshot and they go type that number in. That link is from Instagram, and it is the link to change your password. So they try to log into your account and put forgot password. Then that sends a link to your phone that activates a password reset. Instead of you resetting your password, they type it in as though it went to their phone.
I didn't understand how it worked. I understand it now.
So look at where it comes from. And sometimes they'll even say, oh, this is a link from Instagram. They'll even say, well, Instagram's going to send you a link. Instagram will never send you a link for someone's contest, and they'll never send you a link to help somebody else with anything.
Yeah.
So never send a screen.
Oh.
Even if it's your mom, even if it's someone you trust, the thing is you don't really know when someone else has been hacked. And that's my next question. It's easy to tell if someone has been hacked, true or false? Oh, I shouldn't say
Well, when you get the Bitcoin balance
Yeah.
post,
Yeah.
I would
one,
say
then you know they've been hacked. But
overall false, but sometimes I've had, like through Facebook, somebody sent a message to a group to say, look at this friend of ours just died, with a link. And that's the kind of thing that most people would go, oh my gosh, I got to see who that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on my account, the second they hacked or took my account, they posted a Bitcoin thing.
Right.
And then they were like, hey, I'm doing Bitcoin, join me, and I just earned $20,000.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
didn't understand Bitcoin at all, but yet this person was messaging friends of mine from high school who were thinking it was me and going to the bank and pulling out money. And one of my friends,
oh no,
bank. I'm like, no, that is not me. So people trust you, you know, and on social media, the thing is you don't know. So with the Bitcoin thing, they had 3 posts up, then they took it off. Then people thought it was unhacked. Okay. They also will change your username slightly. And it seems like they always change it. From what I've seen, they always change it slightly. They add underscores, they add periods. For some reason, I don't think they can keep it the same for their thing. So I noticed the other day when I was looking at a comment from my old account, someone's name was changed. How do I explain this? When you respond to a comment, it says at Aimee Bonham, thanks for that. And you're responding to their name in the bottom.
yes.
Well, now their 2 names didn't correspond, right? And so I think they've been hacked because their name is different, but you could just change your name on your account. Yeah. But anyways, so if you think someone is hacked or they're asking you to do something, so that's the point I didn't really say, is they're asking you to vote for me or please help me get back into my account because I'm blocked. You know, especially if it's someone who's never even messaged you before.
Yep, I've had that.
Or maybe they have messaged you before, but you're like, this is a weird request.
Yeah.
You know, go send them an email. If they're a really good friend, call them on the phone. Don't message them in there and say, oh, have you been hacked?
Right.
Because
the hacker's going to say no.
Oh no.
They will say no. They will say no. And I've even had a person tell me, well, I asked them, why haven't you had any new posts? And they just told me that, oh, I haven't been painting for a while, but I don't have a post on that account since March 31st. So if you see something like that where, okay, they haven't been posting, obviously people go on vacation and they don't post for a week, but if you see someone who's been really active and then all of a sudden there's nothing
silence
for a very long time, like that's a red flag, I think. You know. True or false, if I only have a small number of followers, they won't try and get my account.
False.
False. Once they acquire someone's account, they're just going to go through, they're just going through the list. I don't even know if they check to see how many followers people have. I think they just start messaging everybody.
I almost wonder if you have a small account, you might be more at risk because people who have small accounts, this is a big generalization, but a very small account without a lot of posts on it is often somebody who's not as savvy or hasn't been on social media for as long.
Pretty new. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things, but it doesn't keep you from getting attacked or whatever. So if I have a private Instagram account, I can't get hacked. True or false?
I think you can.
False.
I think you can.
I think
but I
I
don't
just,
know.
You think you can or can't?
I think
Well,
you
people,
can.
you can message someone if they have a private account. They can just choose to read
So
it or not.
if you follow me, I might not follow you back, but if you follow me, I can send you a message.
Right.
And that's all they need.
Right.
All they need is a
Just a
connect,
message. Yeah.
a way to message you. So, okay, I don't have my phone number anywhere on Instagram. This will keep me from getting hacked.
False.
False. I think they're all false.
This is actually true.
Oh,
Oh,
When you set up your Instagram account, I think there's a way you can do it without putting your phone number in.
yeah.
And because I had someone tell me they didn't even have their phone number on it because they wanted to be more safe or whatever. And they told me that the guy asked them to go add their phone number to their profile.
Oh.
So if you don't have your phone number on your profile, they can't
okay.
somehow, I don't know how they do this, but she said she didn't have her phone number on there anywhere on Instagram. And so he tried asking her to go add her phone number. So obviously that's a huge red flag. If someone's asking you to go add information, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for account or, you know, um, so anyways, I think there's a way, and I'm going to talk about two-factor in a second. Okay, so clicking on a link sent to you is always bad. True or false?
No,
it's not always bad. False.
Yeah,
Tamara
because
sent me links, but I
yeah,
know it's Tamara, and
yeah.
it'll be
No,
within the context of a conversation.
yeah. In this actual case, the link they send you that goes to your phone is actually a reset, so you can reset your password. If you clicked it, it would actually send you to reset your password. And then it actually stops them from being able to complete it. They actually have to send it to you again. It's actually good if you were to click it. But in my case, I was like, oh, I don't want to click it because they told me not to. And that's what is really bad, you know? But if you look really closely, it goes in a folder that's from Instagram. It's from Instagram. It's not, and Instagram is not going to send you anything about somebody's contest. They're just not going to do that. The only time they send you anything to your phone is about for security issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. So what is, I'm going to ask this question. What is two-factor authentication?
Want to go, Barb?
I've got it. I know that. And where you need, if there's been a breach of security or something like that, that Instagram has another way to contact you to let you know that something's going on, right?
Yeah. So, okay. Oh, I'll say it again. What is two-factor authentication? So two-factor authentication, we actually use two-factor in other respects. When you go to the bank and you put your card in.
Oh, yeah, your PIN number.
You put PIN. So your PIN is considered a two-factor. It's considered another way. So if someone stole your card, they can't probably get money. Well, at the ATM, they would need your PIN, right? So if with two-factor, it allows Instagram to send you a code. So if someone's trying to change something, they send you a code. So there's two ways to set up two-factor. So if you go to your Instagram and you go to set up two-factor, the default is where it actually sends it to your phone. So you'll get this special passcode on your phone.
Yes.
Someone told me that my person actually asked them for this. Oh, can you send me the 6-digit? Like he actually asked them for the two-factor, because two-factor will send you a 6-digit code. So they're not shy. They'll ask for that too. But it's safer if you, instead of sending it to your phone, there's another way, and it's called an authenticator app. The Authenticator app is much more secure because it's some other totally different app on your phone. There's one called Google Authenticator, Google Duo, Google Duo, or Duo Mobile. No, it's called Duo Mobile. Authy, A-U-T-H-Y. That's the one I use.
Microsoft has one too, because we use it through Teams.
So what it does is when it sees that you're trying to make a change to some account or you're trying to log in on a new account, it will ask for your authenticator code, which is way over in your app over there in another spot. And it gives you a 6-digit code that changes every 30 seconds. So you kind of have to be fast. You're like, okay, I got 30 seconds. I got to put this code in. But it keeps, yeah, she used Duo Mobile. I like the Authy one. Find one that it seems to work well for you. It's kind of tricky, but you can watch videos on how to make sure you set them up. But that is because they are still finding, because I've been reading a lot about this, that these people can still wade through the two-factor somehow. And I don't know with this particular scenario, but it's not as secure. So if you want to be totally secure, you need to have the authentication. So I didn't have any set up, which is why I think my account was taken so quickly. The other thing I wanted to say is if you have, if they ask you for something and say you send it to them, the screenshot, they may still ask you another question, which is another big red flag. So where are you from? One of my friends told me that after he got that question, because I know him from high school, he said, oh yeah, I knew this wasn't you. Why would you
wouldn't know?
Why would you
wouldn't know?
Right. So, and that's another thing I've had people say to me, well, ask them how we met. Like, that's another really a good thing. Like, how did we meet? Like, we would ask them a question only they would know. Some, our internet friends, we don't really have this personal stuff we know about each other. But if it's a good friend or something, you can try and figure out if that person is really who they are. Yeah. That's really important.
I want to throw something else. This is related to what you just said. This is called data mining, and this happens all the time on Facebook, and I'm astounded at the number of people I know who reply to these things. When there's a question that goes out and it says, what was the name of your first pet? Or what was your mom's maiden name? Or they're asking for questions, and people will jump in and say the answers to those questions. And the reason why it's bad is because a lot of people still use those as their passwords. So it's a way to reverse engineer information about you. You don't think you're giving out anything, or tell me a name of a food that starts with your mother's first name. But you do enough of these little fun quizzes. Yeah. And there's people out there collecting all of this data and building up information about you. So my little warning is, if you play those little games on Facebook, be very, very careful about what information you're giving away. And if you have your pet's name in your password for anything, you probably want to change it, because somebody knows what your pet's name is now.
Yeah. Okay, how are we on time? I don't know, I have like 3 more little.
We have about seven minutes.
Okay. Be fast. I'm an artist. I'm somewhat shy and not photogenic. It's okay not to show my face anywhere on my Instagram account. I just want it to be about my art and not me. True or false?
False. Get your face out there, right?
What's that?
You need to have proof that it's you, right? Some kind of picture of yourself.
Yes. If you do have your account compromised, one of the things they want to see, and I watched a video, this guy talked about it, he could not get his account back primarily because it was all photography. He didn't have his picture, he didn't have his face anywhere, he didn't have his face in the profile, he didn't have his face anywhere on there. So they can't really verify it's you using your face. Mine is a whole slew of reasons why I'm not sure it's not working, but I had some weird glitch in the system. But I'm not telling you how to get yours back, because that's not what I know right now. But
and Bonnie did ask that you whether you've had your accounts back or not, and it's not. You have not got the original account back yet.
The one that's Aimee Bonham Art. So do not, you can go look at the videos and watch them because they're fun, but just don't talk to anybody there.
Okay.
Okay. Reporting spam or abuse is tedious and takes a long time. True or false?
False.
False. You can do it very quickly. You just press the 3 dots on the top and then press report, or you can block them. The other thing I just found is a new thing. It's called the rage shake. And I didn't even know this, but if you shake your, well, this might only be in United States. I'm not exactly sure. But if you shake your phone, all of a sudden there's this thing that pops up. And I just noticed it. It's like report abuse or spam. So you can just shake your phone and this thing will pop up and you can report it like right then. That's like a new thing that Instagram has done. But I did read that it might not be in all countries yet. So you notice that thing, because I've like dropped my phone and all of a sudden this thing's popping up because they're trying to make it easier for people to report abuse or spam. That's called the rage shake. Okay, the last one is, if you think you've been compromised, you should delete Instagram from your phone and do a backup, or just wipe and erase your whole phone. True or false?
I don't know. I want to
My
say
head's
you
gonna
should
blow up.
probably, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Do not do that.
Okay.
I was, in a frantic, I was trying to figure out what to do. I actually did delete Instagram, did a backup, and then I could no longer use my phone to try and log in to do all the steps. I had to use my old phone. They want to see on a phone that you've used before. So do not do that. It will make everything
Okay.
more problem.
Thank you.
So don't try and think you need to erase your phone or take Instagram off, do a backup right. That makes it really not helpful.
Well, because your account's not really on your phone. It's in the cloud. It's all up there, right?
Do that. And when you update and you take it off, it actually logs you out, and it made it more difficult for me to log back. I couldn't use my phone to log in on that account anymore. I had to use, actually I had an old cell phone that was still, I hadn't sold yet. And so I was using that to try and get in. That may have been part of my problems too. So there's a lot of things that, I don't know. Anyways, that's primarily it. And I hope that wasn't like an overload of information, but I've learned a lot, and hopefully it helps other people. Here I am still trying to help people, but
that's great. I mean, hopefully, hopefully you'll save somebody some heartache, right?
What I'd love to do is because you will get your account back, I'd love you to come back and talk to us about how that worked out for you.
Yeah, I think it will happen. I have a few other things I'm working on that I'm hoping will work.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are just checking in now, you've missed a fabulous conversation. Sorry, Aimee, that this happened to you, but thank you so much for offering up all the research that you've done to help the rest of us reduce. I don't think you can ever eliminate the possibility of getting hacked if you're online. You can just do it more safely. It's kind of like, I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah, don't even go there.
But everybody right now, as soon as we get off this call,
I'm shaking my phone.
2-factor authentication, make sure it's on. Make sure you have got a photograph of yourself on your grid somewhere. And what would the other third most important thing be to do? Don't click a link. No.
Never send a screenshot. Never send a screenshot of a link, even if it's your mom. Don't do it.
Or if it's your dad. In my case in particular, if it's your dad, because my dad sends me a lot of suspicious links.
Not your dad. Okay.
Holy moly, that was super, Aimee. Thank you. I'm a little freaked out because a lot of what you've said has happened to me. I've had those invitations, and I'm like, no, delete. Yeah. I'm just so suspicious of everybody.
It's better to be suspicious, and you got to be less naive like me, and more. You just need to realize there are not everyone is nice out there. That's all there is to it. So you have to be smart and keep an eye out for yourself. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I know it was a different topic and
it's great.
Very important.
Really important. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day. And
see you.
Take care. Stay safe.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.